Hi everybody, it's back to Stuart's Kitchen again. Earlier I made my pie because it's Pie Day Friday. Now this is the finish of the bread that I've started. This is the bowl and that's the dough in there. So it did rise, doubled in size actually. It did really well, look at that. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, the pie from before, I baked it at 425 convection oven for 40 minutes. After 40 minutes, it wasn't quite ready, so I did another 5, maybe 8 minutes more. So just check your oven. Test with a toothpick on your apples. Make sure they're soft but not hard, because I don't like hard apples in an apple pie, that is. Also, conventional oven, you may go longer. Most likely go longer, and maybe 450 degrees for temperature. So you have to experiment with your own oven. So I have convection, so it works pretty cool. So now, the wooden spoon again. So it looks like this. I would dust a little with some flour. Probably a few tablespoons there. Coat this so it doesn't get sticky on it. Lightly bring it in. I'm not going to overdo it. You can sort of see here. And just bring it in. And I turn it a few times like that. Just so it comes away from the side of the bowl is what I'm doing. I'm not going to knead it down because this is technically a no-knead bread, but I like to knead it just a tiny bit. So that's not bad. I just got it away from the side of the bowl. And I might need some flour here, just a tad like that. So open it up. Try not to drop this bowl because it's an expensive bowl. I'm just gonna leave the bit here because I don't think I'm gonna try to incorporate it. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, that's not too much wastage. I'll just let that go. So with this, I'm gonna lightly knead it sort of until it incorporates this dough. The flour, that is, incorporates the flour more. I will fold it a few times. But it's not a heavy knead. I'm just trying to hopefully incorporate this dough so it's one thing, one sort of lightly sticky dough. I probably could have used a softer, wetter dough earlier, I think. Let's see how this works. This is a little tricky sometimes. I did this last time. It was a little tricky to incorporate, so we're just going to try to play with this until it works itself into a nice dough again without the dry bits. I'm trying my best to sort of not completely overdo it. A little bit of flour in the hand, that's all it takes, because I don't want to make a heavy dough and put in a lot of flour. So a relatively light kneading here without too much stretch. I'm not going to be able to incorporate these bits of dough because it would require too much kneading. So I'm just softening this so it becomes one again without any dryness. The flour, oops, sorry. This flour here actually. There we go. Music in the background is just some Lindy Hop swing music because I'm a Lindy dancer also, plus a West Coast swing dancer. But Lindy music is more jazzy, nice to listen to, upbeat, tempo, fun. West Coast music, West Coast swing dance music is just regular pop music off the radio, which I don't need to listen to right now. So I like this kind of jazzy, Lindy jazz music from way bygone era. Like Count Basie might be in there. So it's not quite there yet. I'm going to do, it's wet there, it's moist there. I'm going to fold it in there because that's going to incorporate better. I'm just smoothing out this if I can, all these bits of dry bits. I'm not, you can tell I'm not heavily kneading this bread dough at all. I'm going very light, as you would a soda bread. Soda bread is similar, it's a very soft dough with soda bread. And I do the same thing with the soda bread. In fact, it looks like my soda bread, but definitely not the same beast. Just lightly flour like that. You can tell it's very light. We're almost there. See, when I'm kneading this, the seam starts to disappear on its own because it's kind of moist-ish, not sticky, but there's just enough flour on it that it doesn't stick to my hands a lot. That's all I'm trying to do here. It's still very soft dough. Bounce a little bit. Keep on going. Okay, there's a bits of stickiness, which is just fine. Not a problem at all, because it's just what it is. Every now and then I just coat my hand a little bit. Some wrinkles, crinkles, so at least they're sealed together fine enough. They're not like big cracks that goes into the dough, which means that the flour is too dry inside. So this just what it does, it incorporates all the flour that had gone into it that I put at the beginning, and the dough is one piece in the center also. So when you bake it, you're not going to have dry bits in the center. It's kind of weird. Anyway, that's about the length of the bread that I like. Traditionally, this no knead bread just gets into one of these vessels and it's round. But I like my bread in a loaf like, so I can have bread pieces like sandwich pieces. I just like it the way this way because it's the way I like to have my sandwich kind of pieces. So I make mine in a kind of a long, it's probably about 8-9 inches. Probably 8 and a bit because this vessel is an 8-inch. Oh, it's about what? Maybe a 10-inch there. So I'll put more dough towards the end if I can because it rises in the center more. So I kind of push more to the ends if I can, just a little bit. So there we are. Put some light flour here. I keep the flour on the bottom, put it on top like that. Coat it really well so it's not going to stick. So that's that. So that's going to rise with this bowl over it, like that. That's just enough for it to rise. And then the oven's going to be on at 450 degrees. To bake it, the dough is going to go into this enamel Dutch oven. This Le Creuset, I just love it. I think it's definitely one of the better pots out there. And truly expensive. Gotta find it on sale if you can. I happen to have two because they're so good. There's good copycats out there, sort of. I think there's Lodge brand. Stubb, I think, is the other one. Is a decent brand that's cheaper for sure. This is not French. So eventually this is going to go in there. But this gets heated in the oven at 450 degrees. 450 with the lid on. So we'll let that go. You could use a larger one if you happen to have this size. I happen to have both. That other one fits just right. So this one, I suppose you would do it the long way like that and heat it up as you would the other one at 450 degrees. So we're going to leave that and we'll come back for half an hour. I do about half an hour of rising. You know, even though the oven's on for half an hour, it takes a while to heat up too, depending on the oven. So half an hour I think is a nice time to raise this, let this dough rise. 20 minutes, half an hour, we shall see. Okay, just to show you that I did do the pie. And so here's the pie, looks really nice, beautiful crust. I'm just chilling it now, but maybe ready to go. I just want to show you the pies turned out really nice. Okay, I think it's been close to half an hour. I don't even know, but it seems right. And I'll lift this, we shall see. It definitely risen a little bit, but I'm not going to overhandle it now, because you don't want to lose all that yeast rising. That happened while it was rising. I coat my hand a little, just handle it lightly. We get flour underneath there, and then flour on this side, so it doesn't stick. Slowly lift it in there. Handle really lightly. Reshape slightly like that. Sticky ends here, so get some flour there. Shape like that. There you go. So the Dutch oven's in the oven, so I'm gonna bring it out. It's gonna be super hot. There we go. Now, hopefully I can bring it over here so we still see what I'm doing. Lid off. And let's delicately lift this. Make sure there's flour on the bottoms, because that prevents from sticking later, if it sticks at all. It's going to burn off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, here it goes. Carefully lift it. Drop it in. Now, let's see if you can see this. Bring it over here, so maybe hopefully you can see a little bit. I've shaped it a little bit, slightly. Sharp knife, a really light cut. It's almost minuscule line down the center, because I want it to rise and maybe open a little bit. If you don't do this, it may just maybe just doing that with a high center. So I'm trying to have an even loaf for later on. So there we are. I'll put the lid back on. I'll pop this back in the oven. So it's a really crusty bread like this when it's finished. This bread here is actually 5 days old now, I believe. Still got a good crust. The center is still soft actually. And the thing about homemade bread, I find it doesn't get moldy. This is a very clean environment. So there's no COVID-19 thing happening here at all. Anyway, so I'm going to pop in the oven for 30 minutes with the lid on. After 30 minutes, I take the lid off, and I'll bring the temperature down to probably 425, because it was at 450 now at convection. So I may bring it down to 425 for another 10 minutes after, so it browns really nice. So I'll pop it in now. So here we are, end of the baking time, and here we get the bread, and it shrinks the lid from the side, which is the way you want it. Slightly darker, because I baked it for an extra 10 minutes after the first 40. So let me put that down there. Hollow, as they say. Crunchy crust. Oh, this is so good. And there we are. So there's the pie for my Pie Day Friday, with the addition of the bread. So I hope you enjoyed that, and it's my Friday night. Okay, thanks everybody. Stuart's Kitchen.